Hi everyone, welcome back to Paradise on Pennies. I'm Heather, and today I want to talk about the truth about van life and digital nomadism. Is it all work and no play? Well, for some, yeah, it really is. Some already have lots of money anyway, and it makes it look a lot easier, or at least to do it their way, it looks a lot easier than it really is. The truth is, if you do, or if you want to continue to live at a very high standard of living without any way to make that much money to cover it, then you're not going to make it very long out there, just like regular life. Besides, isn't the point of living this way, this van life, this alternative lifestyle, isn't the whole point so you can save money, spend less, and gain more time anyway? So, you pretty much have to live with less in order to live this lifestyle. That's the point I want to make. Or else, it's kind of pointless to do it in the first place. Unless, of course, you already are pretty rich, and that was the first point that I made, the original point. And plus, even rich folks can waste money and get themselves into that debt just the same as anyone else and have to start over. So the point is, the glorified van lifers really fall into, say, 2 to 3 categories. 1, someone who's already rich. There's no miracle here. There's no real need for an explanation. Have money, will buy nice van. That's how that works. 2 would be those who don't, but are going to work life away, or continue to work life away. Just the office walls change from a standard building to inside of the walls of a van. So, better? I don't know, maybe. But that's the point. You're still working life away. 3rd category, if there is one, is maybe just really lucky people or something like that. The rest of us van lifers and nomads, well, the rest of us, which is representing actually a very small portion of those who you see, actually, thanks to advertising, especially paid advertising. Watch my other video. I'm going to talk extensively about the whole advertising gig out there. But anyway, the rest of us, we have to live with less. Let's just be honest, right, guys? I mean, we have to learn to live with less if we're going to do this. We must learn to lower our bills so that we can continue the lifestyle. We have to learn or consider living with less luxuries. We still have to make money to cover our bills while we're out there. We have to get increasingly more clever and thrifty about ways to do this, ways to save money and be thrifty and live out there on less, because this is an alternative lifestyle, right? So we're going to have alternative methods to make it happen. Speaking of, this touches on some of the truly great outcomes that are possible with the van life movement. Whether it's van life, RV living, SUV dwelling, whatever alternative lifestyle we're talking about here. This touches on some really possible good things that can come out of this lifestyle adjustment movement. And that is having people that are able, in this day and age, in this society, people able to live with less. That's a wonderful thing. That reduces consumption, which we need severely in our system right now. We need to reduce consumption. And it's also very character building to know and learn how to live with less and to be comfortable with less stuff. Sure, we need some stuff to get by. We're organisms. We need to consume. We need food. We need shelter. Fine, whatever. But a lot of us could really learn to live with less. So living this way can be a very humbling experience. And we learn to live that way. That's a good thing. We become better people. So I think that that's a very important possible outcome, and I would like to see that being the outcome of this movement. So it becomes increasingly important for aspiring nomads to understand this truth about what they're seeing about nomad living. Primarily van life, but all the nomad living fits there too. It's not so much all of these fancy stories, all of these bloated success stories that we hear about on these social media platforms, mainly through advertisements, whether you realize it or not. You know, you've seen it. He lived in a garbage can and then he did this. Or he worked as a gas station clerk, but now he's a millionaire nomad traveling the world. Or how about she was a top executive who quit her job and gave up a huge salary just to live in a van. Or maybe she had no money, no resources, but turned this old bus into a palace with wood floors and chandeliers. And yeah, stuff like that. And now she lives in trendy beach towns and somehow, I guess, doesn't have to pay for parking. So that's what I'm talking about, guys. Consistency and realism here with this whole story. Okay, so in addition to that, the point is, just don't be fooled by the advertisements. If you're thinking about nomadic living, some sort of work, travel, balance type of life, or some alternative lifestyle along this topic, some alternative lifestyle to be happier, you know, if that's your goal. It's a good goal. And it's totally, entirely possible by pretty much anyone out there. It's kind of the point of this channel, is to show that it's possible by regular old people like us. You just have to have very realistic views and goals on the subject. And I know that the water has gotten a bit muddied and the picture can be a little unclear now that we live in a world of advertising for this topic, now that it's gotten big enough. If the money is not there, then fine. Just live with less. Just live simple. You know, a lot more people and companies know about van life now. They know about it, and it represents a way just for them to make money. They like catchy, flamboyant stories that are more of the stories that are more of the van life anomalies than the actual everyday people that are out there living as nomads or living in vans. Okay? So that's most of what we're going to see on the platforms. They want to sell. They want to sell an idea. Primarily, they probably want to sell a product behind it somewhere. It's not always obvious. But what sells is seldom reality, and it's also seldom good for you in many cases. So like I said, if the money's not there, fine. We can live with less. We can live simple. You know, you can get a job. You can get a simple job just about anywhere to pay simple bills. So it's not like you really need anything fancy or really need some fancy storyline or some special crazy off-the-wall job and story to really make this happen. You just need a regular old job of some sort that'll pay those regular old bills. If you live too flamboyantly, it's going to be harder to maintain the lifestyle. Just don't dream of a millionaire Instagram photo that you've seen. Sponsored by Carl's Jr. because they pay me to say it. Hopefully you get the reference. Don't dream of a mini mansion inside of van walls. It may not actually be that fancy inside. So what? Who cares? It's your life. Don't imagine yourself at a bunch of trendy beach towns with the back doors open and a beach bar right there. For one thing, you'll probably have to pay to park there. You won't be allowed to sleep there. And you should probably close those van doors because there might be creepers walking around. You're probably not really going to want to have your home open up in a city. And also, that beer is probably going to blow your budget. So most of that is really just not realistic, if we're honest. And yes, you're going to have to work to pay your bills along the way. So it's not just going to be a fantasy. That doesn't mean it can't be an awesome life. It's just not going to be an Instagram photo fantasy. Okay? And there are ways to do it. And there are ways to happily do it. It's kind of up to you depending on your special circumstance. You can work up front, save the money to save up and prepare and then get out there and do it. Maybe you won't have to work at all or as much. You can work a portion of the year and then live for a while and then save up and then live for a while. You can just decide to work some sort of part-time hours of a job. You can do all kinds of choices for non-traditional type of work, or you can work online if that's a possibility. That's a great option. I will get into that in more detail. That is a soon-to-come video where I'm going to talk about this concept of working on the road and ideas, what I do, and what I've seen that actually works from people I know and from my own experience. So stay tuned for that one. I'll have that out soon. Okay, so what's the point of all of this discussion? Pretty obvious, I hope, by now. The point is, this lifestyle is possible by just about anyone. It can be an absolutely amazing thing for your mind and body, your physical and mental health. Wonderful. You can get lots of exercise. You can have more time to yourself. You can do all the things you finally love. You can be less stressed. You can get yourself out of debt. Those are all really good for your health. And there are many different configurations you can come up with to actually do this. Whatever rig type, whatever location you want to be in, what kinds of jobs like I just talked about, how much you're going to have in savings or what you're going to save along the way or what you're going to do to make money, what kind of job, whether or not you're going to travel with a dog, if you're going to travel as a couple or solo. There's one of my dogs. But the underlying theme is being simplistic. I promise you that is the only way, unless you fit into the original categories I talked about, and this really isn't for those people. So, simplicity is key here. Less is more. So I do encourage people to consider some form of this lifestyle. It doesn't mean living like us in an SUV, or living in a truck camper, living in a van. It doesn't have to be that. It can be any form of nomadic living. Maybe you want to travel more internationally, and you can configure that into it too. It's going to cost a bit more, but it's still an option, and you can still actually do it on a cheaper budget than maybe, again, some of the fantasy images. But yeah, so nomadic living or even the off-grid lifestyle fits into here too. We're completely off-grid, so same thing. Minimalism. We live a very minimalistic lifestyle. The tiny home movement. We obviously live in a really tiny home. It's just a tiny home on wheels. That's how we roll. But you can choose anything that works for you. But I do encourage some form of this lifestyle because, like I said, it's really good for you. And it could amount to something that's not only good for us individually, but something that could be really good for society as a whole if we all kind of, get on the movement in general. However you want to do it. We can call it living reasonably because hot water and your rig is already a luxury. I like to think of it like that. We have totally redefined luxuries here in this lifestyle, and that's a good thing. Like I said, it's humbling, if anything else. So, I say absolutely go for it. Whatever's on your dream board along those lines, go for it. I think it'd be great for all of us. But just set your own goals, not goals based off some image that's being sold to you. Build your own authentic passions and live. Live while you still can. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope that was inspiring as well as informative for many of you. I do strive to bring authentic, useful content to you guys, whether you're nomads or aspiring to live any type of life, or you're minimalistic, or you're stick and brick house, whatever form. I hope this is very helpful information, encouraging, and helps you get a better idea of what we have going on here at Paradise on Pennies. So if that was helpful and you enjoyed it, do me a favor, just give my video a like. I would very much appreciate that. And if you haven't yet and you like the content here on Paradise on Pennies, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. When you're on YouTube, you'll see everything new that I put out pretty much immediately if you do that. So do that for me and keep watching. And if you guys have anything else to add, feel free to add it in the comments. I will try to reply when I'm back on grid. I appreciate you guys' support as always, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.